It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather's senior meteorologist, Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. So if you were out and about early this morning or early in the morning, the last few mornings, then you already know. It's one of those if you know, you knows, right? Because it is still just like it was over the weekend with that fresh fall feel, locked in and not really going anywhere for the next few days. So if you've been a fan of these October-ish mornings, even though they are still kind of September-ish, almost August-ish afternoons, well, that trend is going to continue. But I want to talk about this morning's temperatures because some places have gotten pretty chilly. Take a look, dive into the numbers with me as we take a look at your town, your community, all the neighborhoods around the 6 southernmost counties. So starting off with Pearl River County. Now these numbers are reported during the 8 o'clock hour. They were actually a little bit cooler in some spots last hour. But we've got 55 reported at the Picayune Municipal Airport. You can see a 56 closer to Poplarville. We got a 56 very close to Carrier and McNeil, and 50 degrees to the west of Poplarville, closer to Henley Field. Take a look at Hancock County. 54 reported in the Kill this morning. In the middle 50s, probably near Diamond Head. We also see around 60 degrees near Bay St. Louis Waveland. So not as cool when you are closer to those bays, as well as the sound. The warmer water temperatures there kind of keep the temperature from dropping too much. Now in Harrison County, we have the same thing happening near Biloxi Bay. It's only 63 at Keesler. They're surrounded on multiple sides by water. But when you go to the north of Back Bay and Biloxi, there's a site on Pops Ferry Road currently reporting 58. So you got that spread across town, depending on where you are, how close you are to water, how much water is surrounding you, will determine how cool the temperature is. You go north of the bay, 50s. South of the bay, maybe some 60s in Biloxi. Meanwhile, Gulfport at the airport, 59. Long Beach past Christian, middle 50s. And looks like north of I-10, kind of chilly. So if you're stepping out the door in Lyman and Orange Grove, we are finding temperatures in the lower 50s this morning in those neighborhoods, as well as Woolmarket. So, you know, if you're going to be standing outside in this stuff for like more than a half hour, more than 60 minutes, maybe some of you who are not as cold-natured, you might want to have a light jacket, a light sweater on hand. If it's me, I'm enjoying it in short sleeves. This is like, I've been waiting all summer for this. You know, for many of us, we haven't seen temperatures this cool since May. So it's been more than 150 days since we've had these kind of cool mornings, ever since we started them this past weekend. Heading into Stone County, we do have a report of 53 near Perkinston, 55 near Big Level, probably some middle 50s in Wiggins. George County, around 59 in Lucedale. It was cooler the last hour there, though. And then Jackson County wrapping it up. So by the bay in the western side of the county, you do see lower 60s near St. Martin, Gulf Hills, Ocean Springs, and Gulf Park Estates. But once you get away from those bay waters, it does quickly drop off. There's a 51 reported before you get to Van Cleve. Then you go into Van Cleve proper, 57, as well as 56 near Gaucher. And then the airport near Escatawpa, 52 degrees to the north of I-10. But then you go south of I-10, you do find some middle 50s, Moss Point, Pascagoula. So again, just an amazing morning. If you are a fan of fall weather, that October chill really helps invigorate you and refresh things after so many muggy weeks that we've had to put up with during the long summer season. So this is the trend, right? Over the last week, our morning temperatures have come down and down. Last week, we had some really mild, warm morning temperatures. We were in the middle 70s last Tuesday morning. But then ever since the weekend, we told you we would have some of those cooler mornings. So 60 was the morning low on Saturday, although there were some 50s away from Gulfport, Biloxi. But we had those 50s in Gulfport, Biloxi on Sunday, and here we are again with them on Monday morning. Now, looking at where the temperatures are going to go going into the day ahead. We've got your WLOX weather app forecast. Depending on where you're waking up, might be a little bit different than others. Like we showed you, there are some 60s during this current 8 o'clock hour. But once we get to the next hour, the 9 o'clock hour, we are seeing things increasing on the thermometer. We're going to go to the cool 60s and the pleasant 70s later this morning. Now, in the afternoon, it is going to warm up. As we take a look at the WLOX weather app forecast for Monday afternoon, you've got those temperatures 87 around 3 or 4 p.m. in a place like Wiggins, a place like Perkinston, a place like Saussure and Van Cleve. Those will be places generally north of I-10 where you go to 86, 87, maybe 88 this afternoon. Now, if you're closer to the water, like a place like Gulfport, Biloxi, Pascagoula, maybe you'll only be in the middle 80s, so maybe 83, 84, 85 for the afternoon temperature around 2 or 3 p.m. Rain chances stay at 0% though, and we're expecting plenty of sunshine today, so that's going to be a beautiful one for you. Even though we are off to a chilly start, we could see the warmth into the afternoon. And, you know, to go to the middle and upper 80s, it's actually kind of above normal for October. Usually October, the middle of the month, you have highs in the lower 80s. So you go mid and upper 80s, a little warmer than usual. Now here's a look at the next 3 days. It's staying dry. There's not going to be any change. Basically, every day is basically a repeat. Technically, the mornings, I think this was your technical coolest morning, Monday morning. Tomorrow morning, we'll still find chilly 50s, but maybe the temp might be like a degree or 2 up from today. Wednesday, you do it again. Still going to have chilly 50s, cool 60s, but maybe the temperature in the morning might be a degree or 2 or 3 up from Tuesday morning. All the afternoons look about the same, still seeing those 80s. And I got to say this, just do me a favor. Try this out. I know plenty of you might be heading outside today, but I know that there's definitely a lot of complaints when you're outside and you got these kinds of temperatures, 80s, you know, there's going to be the complaints. But if you do me a favor, find a spot and get into the shade. I promise you, if you just try it out, just spend like 60 seconds, maybe 3-5 minutes, whatever, just lounging in the shade this afternoon. It makes a world's difference getting out of that direct sunlight. We really do have some really amazing weather here as long as you're not standing in the direct sunlight. If you're in the sun, you're going to sweat. But if you are in the shade, there's a possibility you might not even break one lick of sweat with the kinds of conditions we have. Because the air is so dry, there's such little humidity, it really is going to feel so comfortable as long as you are not in the direct sun. If you find a nice, comfortable spot in the shade, I promise it'll be comfortable all day long. So that's what we're dealing with. These mornings, we start with the October chill. We have the above normal warmth in the afternoon, and we're staying with the crisp and dry lower humidity for now. But I'm tracking change already, and we're going to dive into the details of the changes coming. So first of all, here's how long we get to hold on to these crisp and dry days. So we keep them today. On Monday, delightfully dry. Tuesday, delightfully dry. Wednesday, also nice and pleasant and crisp. Now Thursday, it's not quite as crisp, but I don't think we'll call it muggy yet. Once we get to Friday, you will start to notice that humidity. And you'll notice it even more this weekend. What's the humidity? What's going on? Well, it's the wind coming in from the Gulf, and that wind from the south is carrying in that Gulf moisture, so it makes it feel muggier starting around Friday and increasing into the weekend. And eventually, when you get enough of this moisture in the atmosphere, it will make it easy for rain showers to kind of pop up a little bit. So that's why you see those rain chances increasing into the weekend. There is some uncertainty on the exact timing of the rain and how much rain we could see. So you'll have to check back on the forecast later this week as we fine-tune the details about the rain timing over the weekend and who could see how much. It's still a little too early for those details as of Monday. The best we can do right now is just tell you that in general, the chances are going up, and for two reasons. The first reason the chances for rain are going up this weekend is the reason I already mentioned. The air is turning muggier, and that greater moisture in the air makes it easy for rain showers to just pop on up out of thin air with no assistance. Reason 2 is there might actually be some assistance in the form of a cool front. So that's what we'll be tracking for you this weekend as an approaching cool front closes in on us from the west. There will be some better rain chances across the whole region. And there's a possibility that this front could slide through the area. If it does, then we could get drier air back into the picture next week. And that will allow for more of those cooler mornings as well. But with the current setup, with this front kind of moving in like that, that's going to do some changes to our temperatures. The afternoon temperatures, don't expect much change. You're looking at mid-80s the whole time frame here. The only difference is that today's 84 will feel so much different than Saturday's 84 because today's 84 is with lower humidity, which is super comfortable. But Saturday's 84 is with higher humidity, so that means the heat index will be hotter. And it will feel hotter this weekend because the air is muggier. So keep that in mind too. Even though the temperature shows little change, it doesn't tell the whole story because you got to factor in that heat index, which is going to show some change, I bet. I would say today's heat index probably just in the middle 80s, but Saturday's heat index will probably be into the hotter 90s. So keep an eye on that. As far as the mornings go, the temperature will change. We are going to see those numbers go up. So even though we do find some chilly mornings in the short term here, eventually those mornings will not be chilly. We will find milder temperatures Friday morning. Friday morning is probably one of your first not chilly mornings for many places. And then that continues Saturday morning, Sunday morning. It's basically mild, if not warm. I mean, you got temperatures that are 10 degrees above normal for Saturday morning and Sunday morning. So that's unusually warm for middle October to see that kind of temperature profile. Now, even though we are forecasting some rain, you know, it's bad. You don't want it to be over your weekend events. But in the case of the drought, it's actually kind of good. You'll notice the latest drought information for Mississippi shows that there are places that are experiencing level 4 drought in our state. Now that's for places that are not too far from the eastern part of the state there, north of Interstate 20. That's where they have that level 4. On the coast, we don't have a level 4, but we're close. There's a level 3. That's a severe drought for places like Jackson and Harrison counties. They're under severe drought. So any rain is appreciated, and we did get some earlier this month. So far this month, there's actually a surplus in the places that need it. So take a look at places near Biloxi, Ocean Springs, D'Iberville, St. Martin, where you do have more than 150% of the rain for so far this month. So it's, you know, compared to how much rain you normally have by October 13th, you have about 150% of that. So that's good. And you see green across this whole map. So this is a good sign, but we got to keep it going. Every day that we don't get rain, which we're about to go through basically a 4 or 5 day stretch at least with no rain, that's going to make this map look worse and worse because the deficit is going to be growing. So right now we have a surplus, but every day that we don't get rain this week, that's going to eat away at that month surplus, so that by the time we check this again around Thursday, Friday, this little change here is probably not going to show a plus. It's probably going to show a minus. We're going to go back into a deficit for the month. But right now we have 2 inches of rain in the bucket, when normally by the 13th day of the month, we would have about 1.5 inches of rain in the bucket. So we're ahead of the schedule, if you will, for the normal rain for the month so far. But like I said, with this stretch going into the next week with little to no rain for multiple days, that's going to eat away at that surplus that we've managed to get so far this month. And even when we do get to the weekend rain on Saturday and Sunday, it's not looking like it's going to be enough to bust the drought. So yeah, look, October, it is typically the driest month of the year, so usually you don't get your hopes up for rain this time of year. But we'll take anything that we can get. usually, normally, when you take a look at the month rain, normally once you get out of October into November, December, you can see those numbers there. That does show that increase. So normally, by the time we get to the end of the year, we do tend to see a wetter pattern. Although if you read the latest information that's just come out about a La Nina, that could actually be a drier than usual winter season. We do have an article on our WLOX.com website about the type of season that we could get if there's a La Nina. So you can check out our website for more information about that from our First Alert Weather team. But just wanted to give you a heads up that that's a look at your 7-day forecast. Most of the week dry, but we are tracking some rain chances for you this weekend. And when you check back for future updates, we'll be able to fine-tune the details on the potential for rain over the weekend. Well, that'll do it for this Monday edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. Embrace the fall feel that will stay nice and fresh for the first half of this week. And we'll see you next time.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.